just gonna have a quick catch up with Dee. She's the sort of lady in charge of Inverlonan Bothies. But yeah, we'll check out the sauna today. They've got some kayaks, I think some paddle boards as well, but we'll get the full tour. Even do a little bit of cooking on the fire, which will be really cool as well. If we've got time for a wee swim as well, I think that'll be good for the soul. These ATVs are really good fun as well. This year's more about just like getting out of sight and on the open road again.
Right.
So where are we going?
So we're just going to run down to the sauna with this, and I try not to take vehicles down. So this is where our butterflies, you know, like our wee marsh petrelli. And
the orange and black ones?
Yeah, on this road here.
What do you call them? Marsh petrellis?
Marsh fertility.
Okay, nice.
And there was another one we spotted last year, which I've forgotten the name of, on this little track. It must just be the flowers and stuff that's starting to grow, which is quite nice. So I'm feeling relaxed.
Totally.
Yeah.
It is that like immediate feeling. I think there's something about that track when you drive up, you're like, ooh, you know, it's like the expectation. So it's either a Cilla Black meets Spanish Inquisition. So who are you? What do you do? Where are we?
So I'm Deirdre, Dee, which is easier for everyone to remember. So I just call myself Dee. And I've been working here this will be my 3rd season, loving life. We are on the back road from Tynnilt to Oban. And just before you come to Oban, you're coming in Lonan footpath, which is open to everyone. And the Bothies are set right on the shores of Lonan, as you can see. So Oban, we're sitting here just now, surrounded by nothing. Oban is 2.5 miles that way, and Oban is quite a busy town.
2.5 miles?
Yeah.
It feels like ages away.
No.
You can't hear anything.
It's only 15 minute drive. And so gateway to the islands, really quite a busy town. So this is like a wee magical pocket in here. It's
and there's quite a lot of history in the area as well. I mean,
yes.
Who wrote the Bothy Bible or your Inverlonan Bible?
Loopy.
It's extensive.
Yes, and I really like that. When we send out a welcome and the Bothy Bible's in there as well, and then you've got your provisions list and drinks and all that kind of stuff. And it probably looks quite a lot of reading, but the feedback I get from it, you know, everyone is on board by the time they get here. You know, they know what's around them. They've already sort of made a little plan. We've got the paddle boards along there, and they've read about the kayaks, you know, so it's fishing rods. They know what's going on.
Let's maybe get into the Bothies themselves. So like, how many are there?
So there's 3.
3, and the names?
So we have Ushka, which we're in just now, water, and then Bea, which is further up, life, and then Shiel, our newest one, which means peaceful.
Right.
So Ushka Bea is also whiskey. Water of life.
Nice. What is a Scottish Bothy?
It's a shelter. So basically, a Bothy is more about if you're out on the hill and you come across like a little Bothy like this. So it's shelter from bad weather, you know, like if you're out and about somewhere, you can just go in and get a bit of safety for the night.
So traditionally they'd be really sparse.
Yeah.
You know, just Just the basics?
Yes.
So you guys have, what, elevated it to...
Yeah, it just made it a lot more comfortable and...
Modernised, maybe? Or is
Well,
that too strong?
I don't think modernised. So a bothy is in basically shelter. But there's something really nice about that, you know, like you go in and you suddenly have that feeling of safety. So we wanted to create that with a bit softer than just going in, lying on the floor in your sleeping bag, you know? Yeah. So, and made it a bit more appealing.
What's the approach in general with the bothies? We talk about architectural design, etc. But like,
so the bothies are made by Bothy Store,
right.
Bobby McNiven in Edinburgh. So you do see them dotted around Scotland. Basically, this is 4 screws in the ground, so it could be dismantled, taken away, and you'd never know that we've been here.
Really? Wow.
So it's come in, it's been made, and then you put your own stamp on it on the inside. I think what's special about them is it's all local craftsmanship, you know, and all that layered on top of each other makes it really special.
And the design themselves, I mean, even just that frame right behind you.
Yes.
I mean, there's obviously method to the madness, hey?
Yeah. But these are a cookie cutout, you know, like this bothy is the cutout that's done all over. But it's just about how you angle it and where you put it. Yeah, the
proportions are really nice as well.
Yeah.
And what about what we're looking at right now as well? I mean, I love this colour. Let's talk about some of the details as well. Like,
yeah, so the wood on the table and the kitchen area, that's all larch from Lochaw, which is local as well. And it's done by a local tradesman, Michael Acey, who's done the woodwork.
Nice.
Even down to the pottery that we use comes from Argyll Pottery, which is just over Connell Bridge.
And the cutlery as well. I mean, we could do some damage for that.
There's not much in the bothy, but the things that are in here work well. There is a bit of work goes on even before the guests get here. You know, there usually is a bit of to and from email or phone calls or whatever. It just depends on how much info they're needing. And then I don't think there's a surprise element of when I meet them in the car park.
Did I just not read the brief then? Yeah, didn't do my homework.
But there definitely is. Sometimes it's a wee bit more like bigger than they thought it was going to be. You know, like they maybe didn't realise it was as remote or like proper off-grid.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. You just usually adjust in the car park and go from there.
So the guys can effectively sort of design it how they want. It's hands-on, hands-off, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's different. There's no guests that are the same. You know, they're going to come in wanting something out of this experience. That's up to them. So we just have to work around that and help where we can, but also stand back as well. You know, it's up to them how they play it, how they work it, how they enjoy it. What
do you love about working here?
Everything. I don't know if there's really, I think just because you're working so close with nature, that is the big thing for me. So there's never a dull moment. You know, things go wrong and maybe the weather's against you, or, you know, it's great.
I think, speaking from personal experience, I mean, the first time that we stayed, it had quite a profound impact though. That must be quite...
That's good to hear.
Quite a nice feeling when people leave and you've forced is the wrong word, but you've had such a positive effect on them that they must come out here kind of a bit different.
Yes, and that's great to hear. And I think you're right. Quite often when I'm checking folk in, you know, they've maybe come out of a busy life, they've just packed their bags and they've got here. So, you know, they're tense. You know, you're driving them in and then you go and pick them up a couple of days later and their whole face has changed. You know, they're just in a different zone. And that's when you know you've kind of hit the spot with them. It's good. That's what it's about. That's probably a great part of my job, is when I can see that it's made a difference to them.
What do you offer here in food and drink?
In food and drink. So basically what we are trying to do is really offer things from Inverlonan. Like our sourdough bread is baked by Tim back at HQ, and all our veg, as much as we can, we're growing our own. There's a wee bit of foraging going on, whatever's in season. Just now Tim's doing an amazing wild garlic aioli.
Nice.
You know, things that are around that we can use, and just trying to think about where it's come from, cutting down your travel. We just want to really make sure it's locally sourced. So all our meats now are our own. We've just introduced hens, so the eggs will be our own as well. Tim's making up our own butter. Yeah, there's just a lot of thought. Even the seafood, you know, it's hand-dyed scallops.
Yeah, that seafood's next level.
Yeah.
And what about cooking it then? So you talked about you're on your own.
Well, yes, you're on your own up to a point. I mean, the seafood boxes and the meat boxes, they're coming in. Basically, all you need to do is get your fire on the go, and you can't really go wrong when you've got such great cuts of meat or such fresh seafood. It's just a case of like laying it on that fire and letting it do its thing.
There's something like infectious about cooking with fire. Like, it's mesmerizing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it gives you, there's a sense of, I don't know whether it's pride or whether, you know, there's a real sense of achievement, and survival instinct kicks in as well when you've got your fires going. You know that you are looking after life yourself, you know?
Yeah, it's mad when you don't have any reception, you're a bit hungry, and actually you realise you just need to pull the finger out and bloody get a fire lit.
Exactly. That's what you're thinking about. It's completely different way of thinking when you're here, because you're thinking about keeping yourself warm, getting your fires on, and your next meal.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Tim. I've just met him today.
Yes.
Lovely lad.
Yes, so Tim kens it. He has got a lot of
awards?
Chefiness behind him.
He's a chefy chef, is he?
Yeah, he's worked in some great places.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's come here. He just started at the beginning of the year.
What impact has he had, either on menu or the setting? Like, walk us through that, the offering that we've actually never done before, like the chef. Would you call it the chef's table, or? Yeah,
so it's a wild dine, and it's an 8-course taster menu that he's doing in a secret location, and it's really magical. He's cooking over an open fire, like basically what you're doing in the Bothies when you're staying here, but he's doing it over an open fire, using again what's seasonal, what's around him. It's quite something.
I just met him briefly there, but he does a dessert with Jerusalem artichoke?
Yes.
What?
I know. I've never seen artichokes used in so many different ways.
Yeah.
The one of the nights I joined him for a dine, there was a venison dish went out, and it had artichoke mash, and then there was crisped artichokes on top, and then there was just artichokes done in 4 different ways.
Love
and
that.
I was like,
I like that approach.
And there was pickled artichokes as well.
Nice.
And just the different textures and almost taste from the same vegetable is unbelievable.
And so, how would you summarise, like, what's important for you in that food and drink experience? you know?
I think basically what we're doing is trying to keep things as simple as possible, you know, as back to basics as possible. And I mean, you really don't, if you've got good quality produce, you don't need a lot. You know, you don't need to be fancy everything.
Yeah, because raw ingredients taste better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why did you feel the need to stock rapscallion?
Raw ingredients, just what we've talked about. You know, things that are simple but perfect taste. No additives, all that kind of stuff. Just raw, simple flavour. It's important that we've got non-alcoholic, good quality drinks, and there doesn't tend to be a lot of them about.
Yeah. Have you noticed the change, like over the years, or like at your time at Inverlonan? Like, have you seen a rise in people needing a non-alc option?
Yeah, for sure, and good quality ones as well.
Really?
People are considering more about what they are consuming. Just because you're not drinking alcohol doesn't mean to say that you can't have something really nice to drink. It's important for us that we've got good quality non-alcoholic drinks. And I think what's nice about rapscallion is they're looking at seasons and seasonal fruits, or you know, drinks that are coming out. That's a big thing for us as well.
Are any challenges about, you know, the location, about the remoteness?
Well, there can be, but I don't really look at it as challenges. You know, it's just, again, you just need to work with your environment. You know, and the weather, mixed bag of weather all the time. It can get snowy in winter, but you have to remember the guests, they're looking out onto that, and it must be the most beautiful thing. But you know, maybe frozen water or exciting on the road out. But these are all things that you just deal with.
Is that a Highland mentality?
There's always a way round whatever.
I love that.